Hello and welcome to Sansad TV. You're watching the news with me, Bhawna Nayar. In the next 30 minutes, we bring you the top stories of the day. First, the headlines. Rajya Sabha approves Constitution SC/ST Order Second Amendment Bill. Government expresses commitment towards development of tribal community and areas. New Delhi International Arbitration Centre Amendment Bill 2022 also passed. Finance Minister responds to the discussion on supplementary demands for grants in the Lok Sabha, says Indian economy better equipped than others to withstand global pressure, assures that government is keeping an eye on inflation and essential commodity prices. Prime Minister calls for people's participation in G20 events. In an address at BJP Parliamentary Party meeting in Delhi, congratulates party on historic victory of Gujarat. WPI inflation at 21-month low, 5.85% in November. Stock market gains for second day in a row. Sensex rises 145 points. And Team India makes a strong comeback after initial setback in test with Bangladesh. France to play second FIFA World Cup semi-final against Morocco. And now let's quickly look at some more important flash news. Civil and Aviation Ministry informs necessary action taken to curb congestion and waiting time at Delhi Airport. Deaths in India due to left-wing extremism reduced by 85% in recent years, informs MOS Home Nityanand Rai in a written reply in the Rajya Sabha. Transport and Highways Minister Nitin Gadkari clarifies there is no proposal to increase maximum speed limit on expressway to 140 km per hour. Government approves revival package of 1,64,000 crore rupees to revive BSNL. Communications Minister Ashwani Vaishnav says BSNL to implement indigenous 4G and 5G technology. President Murmu underlines importance of energy conservation in combating challenges of climate change and global warming. 3 National People's Party MLAs and 1 from the TMC from Meghalaya joined BJP in New Delhi in Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma's presence. US scientists announced major breakthrough in the race to recreate nuclear fusion. Technology promises potential source of near limitless clean energy. Over 120 people killed following the worst floods in years in the capital of Democratic Republic of Congo, Kinshasa. Greek member of European Parliament Eva Kaili denies involvement in alleged bribery scandal involving World Cup host Qatar. Belgian investigators find 1.5 million euros in 2 homes. And Virat Kohli moves 2 ranks to the 8th position while younger opener Ishan Kishan rockets 117 spots to 37th place in the latest ICC ODI ranking released today. Beginning with the Parliament updates, Parliament has passed a bill to rename the New Delhi International Arbitration Centre as the India International Arbitration Centre. The Rajya Sabha passed the New Delhi International Arbitration Centre Amendment Bill 2022, which was piloted by Union Law Minister Kiran Rijiju in the House on Wednesday. The Lok Sabha has already passed the bill on August 8, 2022. While replying to the debate, Law Minister Kiran Rijiju said, this bill will help India emerge as an attractive destination for arbitration at the global level.
आज तक हमारा देश में आर्बिट्रेशन का काम तो चल रहा है, लेकिन जो मूल कारण है जिसके वजह से हम अट्रैक्ट नहीं कर पाया, हमारा ही देश के बड़े बड़े बिजनेस लोग, हमारे देश के लोग विदेश प्रेफर करते हैं, लोग सिंगापुर जाते हैं, लंदन जाते हैं, हांगकांग जाते हैं, अलग अलग जगह जाते हैं। कई कारण है सर, लेकिन मैं मानता हूं कि इस पहल के बाद हम कई ऐसा चेंजेस आगे देखने वाले हैं जिससे हमारे उभरता हुआ आर्थिक शक्ति के साथ साथ हम एक मैग्नेट की तरह दुनिया का बिजनेस कम्युनिटी को हम इंडिया में अट्रैक्ट कर सकते हैं। संख्या के दृष्टि से आप देखेंगे, दिल्ली इंटरनेशनल आर्बिट्रेशन सेंटर जो दिल्ली हाईकोर्ट के माध्यम से उसका देखरेख होता है, पिछले साल 3,704 केसेस रेफर हुए हैं। लेकिन अब इसको बिजनेस का वॉल्यूम के हिसाब से कम हो सकते हैं, लेकिन हमारा देश ही इतना विशाल है कि हमारा अपने अंदर में अगर विदेश से नहीं भी आए, हम तो इंटरनेशनल बनाना चाहते हैं, अगर हमारे देश के लोग बाहर ना आ जाए, इतना भी अगर हम कर सकते हैं प्राथमिकता देकर के, ये भी हमारे लिए बहुत एक सफलता प्राप्त होगा। इसलिए सर सबसे पहले तो हम हमारा देश से बाहर जाने वालों को हम कॉन्फिडेंस देना चाहते हैं।
The Parliament today passed a bill to include the Gond community in the scheduled tribes category in parts of Uttar Pradesh. The Rajya Sabha passed by a voice vote the Constitution Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes Orders Second Amendment Bill 2022. The bill was passed by the Lok Sabha in April this year. With the passage of the bill, the Gond community has been excluded as a scheduled caste in 4 districts of Uttar Pradesh: Chandauli, Kushinagar, Sant Kabir Nagar and Sant Ravidas Nagar. At the same time, it has been recognized as a scheduled tribe in these 4 districts. Replying to the discussion on the bill, Tribal Affairs Minister Arjun Munda said the issue has been pending since 1980s and blamed the then Congress government for ignoring their plight. He said that through this legislation, the government is fulfilling the long-pending demand of the community. Take a listen.
इस देश में भारत का नया उदय हो रहा है, जब जनजाति समाज को मौलिक सुविधाओं के साथ जोड़ते हुए राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर नहीं बल्कि अंतर्राष्ट्रीय स्तर पर भारत का नाम ऊंचा उठे और जनजाति समाज की जो पृष्ठभूमि है उसको सम्मान मिले। और इसलिए इस देश में भगवान बिरसा मुंडा के जन्मदिन को कहा गया कि जनजाति समाज गौरव दिवस के रूप में।
Munda said that the budget allocation for scheduled tribes component has increased from 24,000 crore rupees in 2013-14 to over 85,000 crore rupees in 2021-22. He asserted that steps have been taken for education and economic development of scheduled tribes in the country.
2013-14 में आप यदि देखें तो जो एसटी कंपोनेंट के लिए जो राशि आवंटित की जाती थी उसका जो कुल प्रावधान था वो 24,594 करोड़ रुपया था। लेकिन अगर आप देखें आज के दिन में 2021-22 में तो वो लगभग 85,930 करोड़ रुपये है। तो आप इसका अंदाजा लगा सकते हैं कि अप्रोच में और डेवलपमेंट के लिए सरकार कितनी प्रतिबद्ध है। और अगर वृद्धि को देखें तो वो 256% से अधिक है।
The lower house gave a go-ahead to the demand for supplementary grants, the first batch for financial year 2022-23 and demand for excess grants for financial year 2019-20. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman responded to the discussion on demands for grants in the Lok Sabha. Responding to the concerns about India's import dependency on fertilizers, she states that the country, which is a large importer of fertilizers, will now have to work towards self-sufficiency.
And largely, the fertilizer subsidy that we are demanding as a supplementary is 1,09,288.95 crores. And I want to highlight the fact that India, which is largely an importer of fertilizers, will have to now also start working on self-sufficiency as regards fertilizer manufacturing in this country, and a lot of efforts are going on that score.
Referring to wholesale price index WPI numbers for November, Nirmala Sitharaman stated that it is at a 21-month low. Regarding concerns about the strength of the rupee, referring to the reports, she said that the Indian rupee has strengthened against the dollar and is doing much better than other market economies.
Say the inflation data in November of 2013 was at 19.93%. And the earlier month in October, it was 18.19%. WPI inflation comes to 21 months में सबसे lowest में आया है 5.85% year on year November 22. WPI inflation was 8.39% in October, whereas in November it's 5.85%. It is a matter of fact. Every report has told you that Indian rupee against every other currency has only strengthened.
Yes.
And against the dollar, we have performed much better than many other emerging market economies.
Moving on, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that everyone should be involved in events related to G20 as it is India's program and not a government program. Addressing the BJP Parliamentary Party meeting in Delhi, Prime Minister urged the MPs to come out with innovative ideas to involve people in various events across the country in the run-up to the G20 summit. He said public participation should be ensured through initiatives like cleanliness drives in locations where G20 events are being organized. Prime Minister Modi was also felicitated for the party's landslide victory in Gujarat at the meeting.
प्रधानमंत्री सभी हमारे एमपीज को एक क्लैरियन कॉल दिया। G20 सरकार का कार्यक्रम नहीं है, G20 बीजेपी का कार्यक्रम नहीं है, G20 प्रधानमंत्री जी का कार्यक्रम नहीं है, G20 भारत का कार्यक्रम है और ये भारत का लोगों का कार्यक्रम बनना चाहिए। सब लोग इन्वॉल्व होना चाहिए। उदाहरण स्वरूप में उन्होंने कहा जिस शहर में G20 का कार्यक्रम होता है उस शहर में हम और ज्यादा इंतजाम करके लोगों को इन्वॉल्व करके स्वच्छता कार्यक्रम करना चाहिए।
Prime Minister Modi attended the inauguration ceremony of Pramukh Swami Maharaj Birth Centenary Festival in Ahmedabad. Gujarat Governor Acharya Devvrat and Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel were also present in the program.
हम लोगों को गुरु के रूप में उनकी ताकत दिखती है, लेकिन मुझे एक शिष्य के रूप में उनकी ताकत दिखती है कि अपने गुरु के उस शब्द को उन्होंने जीकर दिखाया और यमुना के तट पर अक्षरधाम बना करके आज पूरे दुनिया के लोग आते हैं तो अक्षरधाम के माध्यम से भारत की महान विरासत को समझने का प्रयास करते हैं। ये युग के लिए किया हुआ काम है, ये युग को प्रेरणा देने वाला काम है। मंदिर व्यवस्थाओं को आध्यात्मिकता और आधुनिकता को मिलन करना, मैं समझता हूं कि एक बड़ी परंपरा प्रमुख स्वामी जी ने प्रस्थापित की है।
Moving ahead, energy conservation will play a crucial role in combating climate change and global warming, President Draupadi Murmu said today. She was addressing the National Energy Conservation Day celebrations in New Delhi. President Murmu said that India's per capita emission is less than one-third of the world's average emission, which reflects its strong commitment towards environment conservation. The president also called for maintaining a balance between nature and progress. Let's listen in.
सभी देशवासियों को विकास का प्रचुर अवसर प्रदान करते हुए क्लाइमेट चेंज की चुनौती का सामना करने के लिए देश की सरकार और जनता द्वारा ऊर्जा के सक्षम उत्पादन, उपयोग और संरक्षण पर जोर दिया जा रहा है। इन प्रयासों को समग्र रूप से आगे बढ़ाने के लिए मैं भारत सरकार के विद्युत मंत्रालय के मार्गदर्शन में ब्यूरो ऑफ एनर्जी एफिशिएंसी के विभिन्न कार्यकलापों की सराहना करती हूँ।
Speaking at the event, Power Minister R.K. Singh said India is on track to achieve its carbon emission targets well before time. He stated that India has already reduced its emission intensity by about 33%. He added that the passage of the Energy Conservation Amendment Bill 2022 will pave the way for enhanced use of renewable energy.
The standards and labeling scheme for domestic appliances that help consumers to make informed choices about power consumption and savings. This program has resulted in the savings of about 60 billion units of electricity annually and a reduction of CO2 emissions by 50 million tons per year.
And talking about economy now, wholesale inflation eased to 21-month low of 5.85% in November on softening prices of fuel and food articles. In November 2021, WPI was 14.87%. The decline in November has been due to a fall in the prices of food articles, basic metals, textiles, chemicals and chemical products, paper and its products. Food inflation was 1.07% in November as against 8.33% in the previous month, while fuel and power was at 17.35% and manufactured products at 3.59%. The lowest level of inflation before November 2022 was in February 2021 when WPI inflation stood at 4.83%. Inflation based on the wholesale price index had eased to 8.39% in October after remaining in double digit for 19 months. And time now to see more news from across the nation. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar met President of the 77th session of the General Assembly, Chaba Koroshi, and discussed India's tenure in the Security Council as well as the country's goals during its G20 presidency. India will organize a briefing of the Security Council on global counter-terrorism approach, principles and the way forward on Thursday. Leaders of several opposition parties met in the Parliament House complex today to evolve a joint strategy on important issues. The leaders of the Congress, Shiva Sena, CPI, CPIM, NCP, RJD, NC, SP, DMK met in the chamber of the leader of the opposition in Rajya Sabha and Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge. Several opposition parties are seeking answers on the Chinese transgressions on the LAC and have moved adjournment notices in both houses of Parliament. The Supreme Court has said it would consider a plea for an early listing of submissions challenging the centre's decision in August 2019 to abrogate Article 370, revoking the special status enjoyed by Jammu and Kashmir. Earlier on April 25 and September 23 of this year, a bench headed by then CJI N.V. Raman had agreed to list the case. A project that aims to improve the health of the Ganga, India's holy river, is among 10 groundbreaking efforts recognized from around the world by the United Nations for their role in restoring the natural world, according to a report unveiled during the UN Biodiversity Conference COP15 in Montreal, Canada. The initiatives were declared World Restoration Flagships and are eligible to receive UN-backed promotion, advice or funding. Slipping into a very short break here, lots more coming up on the other side. You stay tuned to Sansad TV for more news.
We will focus on India's strategic partnership with Germany.
Technology and economy remain the critical core of Germany's policies in which India is a partner.
The most important is to see that how this green and sustainable partnership can transform India's growing economy.
भारत संपूर्ण विश्व में नेतृत्व की भूमिका निभाएगा।
G20 is going to be a very important occasion.
This is also beneficial to the state.
How the act is related to the constitution amendment.
क्षमता और कार्य के हिसाब से
लोगों को मौका मिलता है।
आपको हम अपनी ओर से पूरा सहयोग देंगे।
इस स्कीम में कितना पैसा देने का योजना बनाया ये बताइए।
अगर एनुअल देखा जाए तो 37,845।
I think being bold enough to accept that the standing committee has made an improvement on the original bill.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching the news and now take a look at top stories from across the world. French President Emmanuel Macron said a total of 1.05 billion euros in financial and in-kind aid was pledged during an international donor conference in Paris. The aid is expected to reach Ukraine over the toughest winter months before April. The aid includes $131 million worth of assistance from the host, France. The Paris meeting, attended by 46 countries and 24 international organizations, also sought to put in place a system to coordinate international aid for the winter. A web-based platform will enable Ukraine to list its civilian aid needs and allow donors to show what they will supply in response. Speaking at the conference in Paris, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said that the nation needs a new economic basis of life. He said that 8,896 structures needed to be repaired in the Chernihiv region alone, adding that this region was less damaged than the east and south of the country. Russian drone strikes damaged 5 buildings in Ukrainian capital Kyiv today, even as Ukrainian air defenses thwarted many more. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said that the terrorists fired 13 Iranian-made drones and all were intercepted. The head of the Kiev city administration, Serhiy Popko, said shrapnel from the intercepted drones damaged 1 administrative building, while 4 residential buildings sustained minor damage. Such drones have been a part of Russia's firepower, along with mortar, artillery and rocket strikes across Ukraine in recent weeks. And more news from across the globe. The US is providing an additional 64,716 H-2B visas for the fiscal year 2022-23 under a temporary arrangement. This category of visa is for unskilled foreign workers. The US move is aimed at ensuring that companies here can plan for their labor needs during their busy season. H-2B visa allows employers to temporarily employ foreign workers for a limited period of time in non-agricultural or other services. However, this move by the US Citizenship and Immigration Services is unlikely to have much impact, as the number of Indians applying for this visa is not high. And now more news from across the globe in our Global Wrap segment. Sri Lanka's much anticipated IMF bailout of an assistance package of $2.9 billion will have to wait till early next year as the country pursues talks with creditors to meet the global lenders' condition for the facility. Sri Lanka and the IMF agreed on a staff-level agreement to release $2.9 billion over 4 years, the bailout expected in the island's nation's ongoing economic crisis caused by forex shortages. Britain's inflation fell more sharply than expected in November to 10.7% from October's 41-year high of 11.1%, according to the official consumer prices data, offering some comfort to the Bank of England as it prepares to raise interest rates again. Economists had forecast that the inflation rate would slip to 10.9%. US and Eurozone inflation too have both dropped more steeply than expected last month, raising hopes that the current wave of inflation may have peaked. China's National Health Commission scaled down its daily COVID-19 report starting Wednesday in response to a sharp decline in PCR testing since the government eased antivirus measures after daily cases hit record highs. A notice on the Commission's website said it stopped publishing daily figures on numbers of COVID-19 cases where no symptoms are detected. A judge on Tuesday ordered ousted Peruvian President Pedro Castillo to remain in custody, denying his appeal as authorities build a rebellion case against him. Supreme Court Judge Cesar San Martin Castro's decision could further inflame violent protests across the country, where people have been demanding Castillo's release, the resignation of his successor, and the immediate scheduling of general elections. And a SpaceX rocket is due for launch from California early on Thursday, carrying a NASA satellite designed to conduct the first global survey of the Earth's surface waters, helping shed new light on the mechanics and consequences of climate change. The Falcon 9 rocket, owned and operated by billionaire Elon Musk's commercial launch company under NASA's contract, is set for blastoff at 3:46 a.m. from the Vandenberg U.S. Space Force Base, about 170 miles northwest of Los Angeles. And let's now see what's happening in the world of sports. Cheteshwar Pujara Shreyas Iyer rescue India from a difficult situation in Chattogram Test against Bangladesh. India end day 1 at 278 for 6. Pujara out for 90. Iyer remains unbeaten on 82. Argentina beat 2018 runner-up Croatia 3-0 to clinch their spot in the FIFA World Cup 2022 final. Messi scores a penalty, placed the last pass in the other two scored by Julian Alvarez. Lionel Messi breaks Argentina World Cup goal-scoring record in the semi-final, surpasses Gabriel Batistuta with 11 goals in his name. Lionel Messi reportedly confirms that the 2022 FIFA World Cup final will be his last game for Argentina. Media reports says that he was happy to end his World Cup journey in the final. And later tonight, defending champions France to take on Morocco in the second semi-final of the FIFA World Cup 2022. Morocco is the first African team to reach the semi-finals of a FIFA World Cup. And with that, we come to the end of this bulletin. Keep watching Sansad TV for more news and updates. Thank you for watching. Good night. Namaskar.